some hard-fought rounds, win the distance, man. How you feeling after that performance?
I feel good. Mission accomplished. Came out here, got a win. The fans looked like they enjoyed it. So that's check mark, check mark, check mark.
For sure, man. People are getting their money's worth. You mentioned he was a tough guy. Was that a little harder than we expected, or is this something you saw on tape and had to really dig deep for, make sure the cardio was right, the training was right, because you were going to have to pack a lunch tonight?
No, I knew he wasn't going to come to lay down. He only has one loss. His one loss came to a very tough fighter. I knew I was going to have to, bring my hard hat to work today. We went out there, we got the job done, and got the W.
What surprised you the most from Cruz?
Honestly, when I heard him twice. Like, I know personally I heard him twice. I don't know how many times he felt like he was hurt. But the second time I heard him, I'm surprised at how he reacted to it. Like, he had got hurt, but after he grabbed, it was like he immediately kind of like got himself back together.
So he had a good recovery.
Yeah, his recovery was very good. You know how they say, guys, you got world-class punchers. You got guys with world-class chins. His is definitely up there. His chin definitely up there.
Respect, man. And I'm glad you recognize that. Talk to me about that performance and how happy you were. Not only going the distance, but getting that decision. Kind of weird, right? When they did the majority, that 95-95 was kind of...
my whole career I've always told myself, don't take anything for granted. I have a loss also. And, and my loss, some close scorecards. So, I'm one of the firm believers in there's no such thing as a robbery. In the event that you lose a fight, you lost that fight because you didn't do enough, not because they robbed you. And none of them judges got guns, and they ain't take nothing from you. You gave it away. So, it was a close fight, but we got the win. My team and I will go back and look at it, and we'll make the proper adjustments.
Respect, man. Thanks for being so honest, so transparent. Love that about a fighter.
Hey,
What's the takeaway from tonight? Grade your performance. What do you give yourself?
I gave myself a C+.
Oh, that's low.
I say C+ because I gave it a plus and not a regular C because when in doubt, I did listen to my corner. They were giving instruction. I did listen to what they were saying. But the initial game plan would have made it where the back half of the fight was much more lopsided than it was. The back half of the fight was kind of close. If I followed the game plan how we, practice it, it would have been a much more lopsided back half of the fight. It might not even have been a back half of the fight if I went all the way through. So C+. That grade honestly might drop when we look at film, but right now I'm saying C+.
Understood. C+ it is. What was the game plan going in tonight for your boxing?
The game plan was to establish my jab and invest in the body. If I invest in the body early, he was going to give me the headshots. I was headhunting a lot early, and by the time I got back to the body plan, he was kind of prepared. So, yeah.
Right, I'm a man. Last two for me. How do we celebrate this win tonight? You're in Vegas Sunday night. The strip is right up the street. What's going on?
I'm gonna go get me something to eat. I'm a foodie. I've been thinking about what I'm gonna eat since from the time I was walking back here. So I'm gonna get me something to eat. I'm gonna chill for a little bit. Call back home. Call my girl. Call my mom. Call everybody that probably been blowing my phone up. And prepare for my flight tomorrow.
That's what's up, man. Who gets the first call? Just talk to mom, send him, make sure, let him know you're okay. A little bit of blood, but you're good.
I turn the phone on. The first call is mom, and then it's in order of who called most recent.
That's what's up, man. Well, congrats on the win. Well done tonight, sir.
Thank you.
Hi. We spoke the other day. Congratulations on your win. You really came and showed what you promised you would. This is only the second event for Zuffa. What does getting into Zuffa early on into this platform mean for your career trajectory?
I would equate it to, somebody who bought Bitcoin when it first dropped. If you bought $10 of Bitcoin when it first dropped, you up right now. And that, I feel like that's the same situation here. A lot of guys have their mixed emotions about Zuffa. I'm in love with the idea of what they got going on. you know, the whole rundown, how they setting things up, how they doing things. So, you know, I'm all in. I'm all in. You know, they told me to buy in. Shit, I bought in. Shit, I sold the PlayStation to buy some more. Yeah.
I love that. That was such a good analogy. Now, you only have one loss in your career. What do you think separates you from the rest of the division?
The resilientness. Like, I said that wrong. Resilience.
Resilience.
Yeah. I just feel like, you know, I'm not going to go in there and I'm not going, if it's a tough night, I'm not going to succumb to the tough night. You know, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to figure it out. You know, I was in there with a tough fighter. You know, he just like me, he only got one loss. You know, boxing has turned into a popularity contest where people say, oh, well, Jalil's more popular than him, so duh, he's going to beat him. We have the same exact record. So it's like I went in there in an evenly matched fight, and, you know, I wanted it more. You know, that's what it all came down to. I wanted it more, and that's why I won. You know, so, yeah, I feel like that's what separates me at 160. You know, a lot of these guys, they're talented. You know, it may be some guys that some people may think are more talented than me. You know, they might think they're stronger. They might think they're faster. You know, but they're never going to say, oh, yeah, he's tougher than Jalil, or he'll make Jalil quit. Like, no. You'll never find a fighter that can do that.
Yeah, you came here to win, and you really showed it. I love that you mentioned also the 50-50 matching. I have noticed, even since the Zuffa won, that the matchmaking is pretty even. How do you feel that helps regarding, you know, upcoming prospects and matching going forward?
I did an interview for a pre-fight presser. I think it was last March, and I touched on that a little. And I said, more often than not in boxing, these guys, you know, they pick and choose who they fight, and you look up and they're 30-0. And then when they actually get into a real fight and they get fucked up, everybody's trying to figure out why they got fucked up. Like, oh, this guy's 30-0, why'd he get beat like this? And then you take a deep dive into their box rec, they haven't fought anybody. Yeah. You know, this right here is really, it's helping guys out, honestly. You know, I just think of it from my perspective. I'm 22 right now. If I have 5 fights with Zuffa, and in my 5 fights, I win 3 of them, and I lose 2 of them, but in the 2 fights I lost, I get wore out. And I tell myself mentally, like, damn, maybe this ain't for me. I can go do something else in my life and be fine. But some of these guys wait till they 29, 30 years old, they got like 35 fights, and then they find out that they really a bum. You can't go start a career at 32. It's hard. So
The train passed them, huh?
yeah, nah, real shit. So yeah, that's what this sport, that's what Zuffa's offering. They offering realistic life. Like, you know, it's nothing fictional. Everything is straightforward.
Yeah, I really like that. And, you know, Zuffa's approach differs from traditional promoting, especially, you know, speaking of sanctioning body and their structure as well. From a fighter's perspective, what does boxing need right now?
Boxing needs Zuffa. And hey, they did not pay me to say this. This is not an ad.
Not sponsored.
This is not a sponsored ad, but boxing needs Zuffa. You know, it's some guys that in the past 2 cards that they have, they probably made more in this one fight than they made in their whole career. You know, it's some guys that never in a million years would have got this type of exposure. You know, shout out to the whole UFC PI, you know, preparing for the fight. I've never had a fight week go as smooth as this fight week went. Oh, excuse me. You know, they had us out here. We weighed in Saturday morning, Friday. I'm still eating good on Friday. I never ate good a day before the weigh-in. I was eating real good. You know, they treated us well. You know, made sure our bodies were fully prepared to go out there and perform. You know, when I'm finished, they're gonna check on me again. You know, they're a phone call away. The whole team is like, they taking me in with welcoming arms. You know, so it's how can you not like it over here, man? You know, it's solid. It's like a little NFL team. You know, they got your best interest over here. So Yeah, man, I fuck with it.
It's really wonderful to hear all the feedback from all the athletes. Congratulations again, Jalil. I'm looking forward to seeing more of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just one. You mentioned that you weren't awfully too impressed with Callum Washington's performance last week. Is that a guy you'd like to share the ring with sometime down the line?
It's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. You know, it's two guys that we're both at 160. Anything I've ever done, I've always wanted to be the best. You know, so he's the man at 160 right now because he was the first on board. So eventually we will cross paths, and the best man will win that night.
Just last one from me. When we spoke earlier this week, you told me that just you being a dog separates you from all these other, prospects that Zuffa has signed. So do you think tonight was, further prove that point that you gave?
No, absolutely. You know, we get to about the midway point, the 5th or 6th round. It was looking like it was going to be a 10-round night. You know, I know some guys that would have packed it in. I'm like, nah, hell nah. If it's going to be a 10-round night, we're going to make it a hell of a 10-round night. And, that's what I did. I went out there, I dogged it out, and I got me a dub.